The U.S. Olympian who turned her back on the American flag during the national anthem Saturday says she was the victim of a setup. Hammer thrower Gwen Berry won bronze in the Olympic trials and put a T-shirt reading "activist athlete" over her head as the anthem played. She claims organizers should have played it before she got on the podium and says the anthem does not speak for her and that she represents those killed by systemic racism. It's not the first time she's used the podium to protest racism. She raised her fist at the Pan American Games in Peru 2 years ago. Tomi, it seems to me this athlete is making this all about herself. She says that it was a, quote, disrespectful move by the U.S. Olympic trial organizers and that they deliberately played this anthem when she was coming to the podium to, as she says, make a point and sort of stir the pot toward her. Your thoughts?
Well, they already made a comment saying that they had the national anthem scheduled to play at that time, so the fact that she was set up is just simply not true. But furthermore, imagine being a U.S. Olympic athlete and being triggered by our national anthem and feeling, quote, pissed and set up because that anthem played as you were going to the podium. If you're going to be a U.S. Olympic athlete, you should get used to hearing that national anthem, whether you like it or not. The rest of this country and your fellow athletes are not going to bow to your triggers. But furthermore, I understand that that is our First Amendment right to be able to protest, to have her freedom of expression. But is it really too much to ask, if you want to be someone that represents the United States of America, that you have just a little bit of respect for that country that you're representing? It's not all about you. It's about this nation. It's a time of togetherness. It's a time of patriotism. And the fact that these athletes can't put that aside just while they're competing for our country, you have plenty of time in your off time to be an activist athlete. But could you just have a little bit of respect for the people that fought and died for your right to even stand on that podium? I don't think it's too much to ask. And Jason, to Tomi's point, you know, the United States Olympic Committee has said that they will allow athletes to demonstrate on the podium should one medal there in the Tokyo Games this summer. But the International Olympic Committee remains committed to enforcing their Rule 50, which prohibits demonstration on the podium. So if Gwen Berry wins a medal in the actual Olympics and chooses to do this, while the U.S. might capitulate to her disrespectful stance of turning her back to the flag, globally, she will be, well, it will be unacceptable.
Well, I agree with Tomi Lahren here, and to the athlete who decides that it's too much for her to stand and recognize the United States of America and the national anthem, then have the political guts to not participate in the games to represent the United States of America. Go participate in your backyard. Go to your YMCA and compete in hammer throwing if that's what you want. But if you're going to wear the flag, the United States of America, and represent us as a country, then you're going to have to be okay to put the red, white, and blue and listen to that national anthem. And if you want to protest, then go do that on your own time, but not while they're playing the national anthem in front of the world.
And Kayleigh, many people are saying that while they support the right to protest on the podium in sort of public manners such as this by athletes, that this particular form of protest, turning her back to the flag, was so disrespectful and such a turnoff that there is very, very little support for her doing this.
Yeah, very little support, because America realizes this was not a setup, as she claims. This was a publicity stunt. She knew the anthem was going to be played. If she had taken the time to read the schedule that was public, then she would have known. She had her T-shirt there ready to go. It seems to me like an absolute publicity stunt. And you hit the nail on the head, Emily, right at the top when you said this is all about her. The national anthem is about us, about our whole country, all of us. And she chose to make this about her so she would get the headlines, and it is such a disgrace.
Harris, and by this type of controversial protest, it seems that it's detracting from whatever message she claims that she has that could have actually maybe garnered support for some type of change that she's trying to achieve here in this country, because now the conversation is just about how disrespectful she is.
You know, it's interesting what Jason said, too. I mean, who does she represent? Does anybody feel like they represent her? I mean, that she represents them is the question, too. I interviewed not long ago 1968 medal winner track and field John Carlos. Remember, he held up the fist on the podium. And we talked about these very issues. And he said, you know, Harris, one of the things people didn't realize was if you open that fist, it's 5 fingers, and it's all of us working together on the team and as a nation. And I don't know that we necessarily knew the details about that story, but he said, you know, during the history of all of this, at the time, people laid on it what they wanted to lay on it. He said, had I had it to do all over again, at the time I might have explained that. I might have opened my fist. I wonder where this woman will be when it comes time to open up to why this moment had to happen and who really was represented by that. Because as you said, Jason, not me.